Chapter 15. Shortly after we arrived, I was at the Cove Beach trying to improve my rowing. I had observed that bringing in ship passengers was an easy way to make money, and we had great need of it. As I struggled to manage the two long, heavy oars, I realized a boy on the Cove Beach was watching me. I tried to ignore his gaze, but when I managed to get back to shore and needed to walk by him, he called out, "Having trouble rowing?" "What business is it of yours?" I replied, thinking he was about to mock me. "Yeah," he said, "you're a girl." Let it be recalled that my knowledge of boys, other than my brother, was slight. Such experience as I had at Mrs. Colbrett's Academy of Dancery was not positive. So when this boy said, "You're a girl," my retort was, "What if I am?" His response was, "I've got a sister who rows right enough. I'm willing to bet I could teach you." Why make it a bet? Bets make things interesting. Besides, I'm always broke. Where's your sister? Back east, Maine. Rowing is what we do. What would the bet be? If I can teach you rowing, you stake me at the gambling tables. For how much? Say, $2 worth, gold or coin. What's your name? I asked. Thaddeus. You can call me Thad. Why are you sitting here? Just taking a break. I clerk at the Howard and Mellis store. He pointed, right there. I considered this boy. He was tall and gawky, with unruly ginger hair, a splish-splash of freckles on his cheeks, and ears large enough that they might have served as flying jibs on a sailing ship. 15 years of age, as I would learn, he was rather clumsy, as if not yet accustomed to his own size. His earnest awkwardness made me smile. He rather reminded me of a scarecrow that was poorly stuffed with straw. But since I really wanted to learn to row, I decided not to waste the opportunity. "If you can teach me," I responded, "I'll stake you." So it was that Thad instructed me, and did so with some impatience. "No, hold your hands this way, not that." But while he could be critical, there was no condescension. When he reminded me of the bet that he could teach me to row, which assuredly he had won, I gave him $2 in gold grains. He went promptly to the gaming tables and lost it. I watched him do so. He may have lost the gold, but he'd won my friendship. Whenever I'd see him at the Cove, he'd offer more lessons, but he never asked for money again. I also learned more about Thad. His mother and sister had yet to arrive from back east. His father was a printer for the city newspaper, the Alta California. Thad was not one to often smile or frown, but maintained an amiable face with a mere smooth calmness. He spoke little, but when he did, it was with purpose. He was near my age, and I liked him because when I talked he was willing to listen. In my life's experience, not many boys cared about what I had to say. He, I think, enjoyed my chatter. I appreciated his calm, a kind of easy counterweight. To my exuberance, he had composure. In boat terms, that gave ballast to us both and kept our ship of friendship on an even keel. As I learned, Thad was far from perfect. While happily he did not drink, he, like most everyone else in San Francisco, was fascinated by gambling. He loved to wander about the gambling halls. The Mercury Saloon, being nearest his work, was his favorite. Once there, he would gaze upon the thousands of dollars worth of stacked coins and heaped gold grains. By then I had learned that his family had been quite poor in Maine. His father's coming to California, much as with my father, was an act of desperation. Thad once told me the piles of San Francisco money and gold were the nearest sight of paradise he might ever get. Thad would take his weekly wages and play the most popular games, faro and monte. These were card games of chance, and seemed to require less skill than guesswork, which is to say luck. They were fast games, and money came and went rapidly. Sometimes Thad won, once as much as $100. More often he would lose. It was when he played that he showed the most emotion. I came to see he loved the elation of taking risks. At times I even felt obliged to trail after him, to make sure he did not throw away all his wages. "It's a waste of money," I kept telling him. "Taking chances," he returned, "adds excitement, and I just might win big." Spending more time with Thad meant I spent less time with Jacob, which caused my brother to become unhappy about this friendship. I explained to Jacob that Thaddeus was not my sweetheart. There are few girls here, I said, and they are too snobbish to be friends with me, dismayed by my muddy boots and hard work. Thad accepts who I am. I don't like him, said Jacob. Why? Always going to the Mercury to gamble. Not that much, and I keep him from doing more. Jacob, who could always find something to worry about, said, What's going to happen if Thad gets hold of the money Father left us and gambles it away? I won't let it happen, I insisted. But what if he does? Jacob, I repeated with some anger, it won't happen. Then came Monday, November 26, 1849. Rain had fallen for 5 straight days. When it finally paused, the mud was, in places, 4 feet deep. On California Street a mule had tripped and drowned in the mire. That early evening Jacob was sitting outside our tent, staring out over the bay. He was whistling a sad melody over and over again, while continually toying with that election token Father had given him. It was damp and chilly. The rain was pattering down like the tip-tapping of nervous fingers. Having something to tell him, I sat down next to him. What's that song you're whistling? It's called I Often Think of Riding Home. He turned the token over a few times. I heard some miners singing it at the post office. It's a sad song, I said. After being quiet for a while, he said, Look at all those ships. He was gazing down at Rotten Row. There must be 500 of them now, just sitting there, like me. A couple are about to go east. Wish I was going. Having learned only to listen when he complained this way, I said nothing. He went on. I heard ship captains are offering tons of money to hire on sailors so they can sail back east. Except no one wants to go. Some captains are even going to crimp for crews. I asked, What's crimp mean? Captains who kidnap people to get sailors. Least I'd go somewhere. Jacob, I cried with exasperation, no one is going to kidnap you. See that ship? He pointed to a 2-masted ship, the kind called a brig. She's the Yankee Sword, going to sail for Panama in a few days. Some kid told me the captain is looking for a cabin boy. I was thinking, he went on, I should sign up. Get away from here and make some money doing it. When I get back, Mother might be here, or Father. They'll never hire on a boy like you, I told him. Might, he said, almost wistfully. I thought, I wish you would go, but instantly ashamed of myself, I said, I promise, Father and Mother will get here soon. Father said December 1st. That's in 5 days. What if he doesn't come? Jacob said mournfully. I wasn't going to say that I could hardly wait for Father to return so that I'd no longer have the care of him. Jacob was silent for a while before bursting out. Torrey, what if they don't ever come? It was his old unhappy refrain. He reached for his hat and touched his good-luck pelican feather which he had kept all this time. You're feeling bad tonight, aren't you? I said. About as hollow as a barrel of air, and I hate the rain. It'll stop. Yeah, but it'll start again. Always does. After a moment I said, Thad and I are going to a dance tonight. You might come. How are you going to dance in all this mud? I smiled by lifting my feet high. He didn't laugh and declined my invitation. I had never seen such despondency in him. Please, Father, I thought, come home. You've just 5 more days. I didn't press Jacob to come to the dance. Looking forward to the evening's frolic, I had no need of an unhappy younger brother stepping on my heels. The truth is, I was glad I was getting away from him.